So we're going to talk about the kind of value that logical data models can contribute to an Agile project and how exactly that's done and how you sell the idea of doing a data model on an Agile project. But first I'm going to put a spotlight on my friend John Giles, and I'm going to ask you to tell everybody that story you just told me at the break.
Okay, a couple of weeks ago I was chatting to a guy and his job title is Agile Coach. So he mentors and the Scrum Masters and all the rest. And he is not a developer and he is definitely not a data modeler. And he said that the velocity on the project was a concern to him and it was getting worse. It was going slower and slower. And he perceived that the problem was reworking and reworking what they'd done because they didn't have a data model. Now remember, this is coming from an agile coach. So he spoke to the product owner. He said, "Look, I want to make a big bold call. I want to set aside the next 2 weeks, the next sprint, to get this data architecture, data modeling stuff sorted out." He actually measured the velocity before, multiple sprints before and multiple sprints after. The average increase in velocity was 12 times faster.
Yeah. Yeah, and it goes to a very important point. Back many years ago, I subscribed to a magazine for software developers, and they did a weekly feature column in this magazine with a couple of Agile developers, extreme programmers. And every week it was the same storyline. The developers would tweak one piece of code and something else would break. And then they'd go and they'd fix that class or whatever it was. And then something else would break over here. And then they would go over and they would fix that thing and something else would break. And this went on in the magazine week after week after week after week. And this was being held up to developers as an example of how you should do Agile development. And it was stupid, and it didn't make any sense. It never occurred to either of these people that the most agile thing they could possibly do at that point is to go back and look at their application architecture and maybe re-architect the application, because the problem that they had that they didn't seem to realize they had was that they had a whole bunch of tightly coupled application components. And so every time they changed one component, some other component would break. That's called tight coupling. At that point, you need to kind of drop back and punt. You need to go back, even if it costs you a sprint, you have to go back and re-examine your application architecture and design and create application classes that aren't tightly coupled. And then taking the time to do that necessary work will make all of your future sprints more agile. You'll be able to deliver higher quality work, higher valued work more quickly. So sometimes the most agile thing you can do is to stop for a minute and think about what you're doing and maybe go back and rework something that's impeding your progress. I mentioned that I was working on this big Agile project for warranty and vehicle registration at work. Originally, I was not supposed to be working on this project. They did the entire first track of the project without me, and the developers did all of the data work. They defined the data structures, they built the data structures, they did the coding and whatever. And that first track went so badly that the senior director in charge of that project moved heaven and earth and reorganized projects and so on to get me on that project more or less full-time so I could do data modeling and data development work because our management now over the course of the 10 years or so that we've been doing Agile projects and I've been doing the data work and the data modeling on Agile projects, they have seen the value that this work provides for projects, and they have seen projects succeed because of this work that we do.